Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have a really good batch of new recipes for you today. All 4 of these brand new for me, new for my channel. These are casserole recipes. I don't know about you, but I love a good casserole where everything goes in the dish, you get it in the oven, and it's kind of like a one-pot meal a lot of the times. Of course, you can put sides with it, but sometimes a casserole dish has everything you need for dinner. I looked around to find 4 that were maybe a little bit different, something that we hadn't tried but I knew we would like, and that's what I have for you today. I think you're gonna like these. We really did. They were all winners around here. So I hope you get some good ideas and inspiration from this today while you watch this video. And yeah, that being said, we're just gonna jump right on into it, you guys. All right, I am making a cornbread chicken casserole tonight. I've got 2 cups of shredded chicken here. I'm just gonna go into my bowl. I did this in my crock pot, and it is just all tender and shredded up. I just went in with my little meat masher and kind of shredded that up. So that's what that looks like. To my shredded chicken here, I'm gonna add about 1/3 cup sour cream, just kind of eyeballing that. And then I'm going in with 1 can of Campbell's cream of chicken. I would think a cream of celery or a cream of mushroom would also work just fine with this. I'm also adding in 3/4 a cup of milk. And I'm also adding in 1 cup of cheese. This cheese is a mixture of cheeses. I've got an Asiago Swiss blend. I have some smoked pepper jack and a chipotle. Now, we had a big sandwich night. I made a big sandwich board, and this is all delicious, yummy cheese from the Amish store when we just went to Amish country. They have some yummy cheese factories there that make them right on site. And I already had this all sliced up, and I don't have any cheddar shredded up or anything like that. So this is, let's get this over here so you can see, this is the cheese that I am using out of convenience, and that cheese needs to be used. So it'll be a delicious cheesy blend for this chicken casserole. Okay, got this all mixed up together here. The recipe doesn't call for any seasonings. I'm feeling like we might need some in there. So I think I'm gonna add in maybe like a garlic powder, maybe a little bit of salt and some pepper. So just some simple general seasonings. I feel like this should be seasoned. So let's do that. I'm gonna go light on the salt because of the cheese that's in there. So I don't wanna go too much. And let's see here, I didn't season my chicken at all when I put it in the crock pot. I just put water and chicken breast. So definitely want to put a little bit of seasoning at this point, I think. All right, let's stir that together here. This already smells really, really good. Got my baking dish already sprayed with non-stick spray. And we're gonna add this right to the bottom. After we make a mess, of course. There we go. All right, back into the same bowl. I didn't even rinse it. I don't need to. It's fine just like it is. I'm gonna use a box of this Jiffy corn muffin mix. And on the side here are the directions. It actually is the same directions to make this, plus you're adding in a can of cream style corn. So let's get that stirred together here. I saw this recipe. Well, that's the thing. I'm so frustrated I can't find the exact recipe. I don't think that I saw originally. Nothing looks exactly like what I saw, and I could have sworn that I saved it, but I can't find it saved anywhere. So I'm doing what I always do, and that is cross-reference a bunch of recipes of cornbread chicken casserole and try to jog my memory of the one that I saw. And in the meantime, I have found some really neat ones, some variations of each other. It seemed like all of them are. Probably people just have made it their own little way, put their own little twist on it. But what I'm making now seems most like, I guess, what I originally remembered seeing. I've got to do better at saving these recipes. I do save them, but I save them all sorts of places, and then I can't track down where I've saved them. Now we are just going to add this cornbread topping all on top, and I will definitely have this typed out exactly how I made it down below for both your benefit and mine. It's going to be good to know exactly what I did for this. Okay, let's get this in the oven. This will bake for 45 minutes, around there. I think it said 30 to 45 minutes on 400. You want to make sure the cornbread, test that for doneness to make sure it's done all the way through. Here it is coming out of the oven. Look at this golden crust on the top. It had a good crunchy topping there with that cornbread, and I thought a little butter on the top would be good, and it was. Let me just tell you, this was delicious. I already can't wait to make this one again. Actually, all of these, they were all really, really good. I promise you that. But this one, I love the Jiffy cornbread on top of something or in something. I just like that sweet flavor that it provides. And this one just being right on top was just like a good, yummy top crust. I'm telling you, this was delicious. Comfort food extraordinaire. So easy, you saw that. This is definitely one, if you haven't made, I think you should give this one a try. I just served it up with some box shells and cheese because that's what sounded good to me this night. So, so good. Nothing to complain about with this casserole dish whatsoever. Hello, everybody. All right, I am making a new recipe tonight, and it is called Walking Taco Casserole. And I am just pretty positive this is going to be delicious. One other fun thing about it, you can make the whole thing in your cast iron and put it in the oven, and it's a one-dish meal. So you don't have to do it this way, but you can. So I definitely wanted to go this route. So 1 pound of ground beef and some onion. I did about probably a half a cup or so. I'm gonna let this cook together for a few minutes here until the ground beef is cooked all the way through. My ground beef and onion has all fried up. I've got the grease removed, and now I'm going to go in with lime. I'm going to use a whole lime here and just put in all that delicious juice. You've probably heard me say before, I really love lemon. Lemon's my favorite. Lemon or lime on ground beef with tacos or anything taco related. It just gives the ground beef such a great flavor. Now you also want to season this up with 1 packet of taco seasoning, or season it yourself with whatever that you enjoy on your taco meat. I don't have any taco packets. I generally don't. I most always just do mine like this. So I'm going to use cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and chili powder. also adding in 1 can of diced green chilies. And the recipe calls for 3 ounces of cream cheese. Instead of cream cheese, I am adding in the white queso. I usually get a big container of this from Sam's, and I just had a little bit left, and I thought this is the route I'm gonna go. Instead of the cream cheese, I'm gonna add this queso. So it's probably a little under 3 ounces. We're gonna get this all mixed together. This mixture right here already looks so delicious. All right, I'm gonna let this simmer together here so all of these flavors can start coming together and the cheese can melt. Once your ground beef mixture is heated through, then you can add on the last 2 toppings, which is corn chips and cheese. And the recipe said 1 to 2 cups of corn chips, I think is what it said. So I'm using these, just these plain corn chips. I got these at the Amish store. And I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna put on what I think looks like the right amount. I've seen walking tacos made with Fritos or chili cheese Fritos. I've seen them made with Doritos. You can pretty much do whatever you want, but this is what I had and wanted to use. I think I would have liked this combo anyway, so I think this looks about right. So corn chips on there. Comment below if you've had a walking taco. And then the cheese, I just shredded up my own cheese here, but just whatever cheese you have. You can even use a Mexican. This is a Colby Jack. But you just want to top it with cheese. And then this bakes for 20 minutes on 350. And then some toppings to serve with it when it comes out. Doesn't this look great? Okay, I'm gonna get this in the oven. All right, here it is, fresh out of the oven. The cheese is all melted. This looks so good, and it smells really good. And I love that I did it all in my cast iron. So let's get the toppings on here and serve this thing up. Okay, I'm gonna go in with some white onion, and we love onion, you know that. So I think this good, crispy, fresh white onion on this is gonna be really good. I'm gonna go in with some cilantro, and you could certainly put on here whatever you wanted. I'm gonna put some fresh sliced tomatoes. I'm gonna sprinkle on some lettuce. Starting to look like a walking taco casserole. Let's put on a little bit of Cholula hot sauce. And this squeezed sour cream really comes in handy when you have a meal like this, especially. You can just squeeze it on just like that. All right, how does that look? Oh my goodness, we can't wait to dive into this. I know it's gonna be delicious. This one here was absolutely delicious, totally exceeded my expectations. This one, make sure you try it. This is called a French onion chicken bubble up bake. So I thought this had a great place here in this casserole video. All right, you need about 2 cups of cooked chicken. So I'm starting here with a boneless, skinless chicken breast. I am just cutting that up into cubes, and I'm going to cook that up on the stovetop. I'm just sauteing this up here in a skillet that some bacon had been fried in for something else. So I had those good bacon drippings in the bottom, which added some additional flavor. I decided to go in with just a little bit of dry ranch seasoning and some black pepper. I will say my casserole on this one came out a little bit on the salty side, so I will definitely make this one again, and I will cut back where I can. So the dry ranch seasoning I probably will not use the next time. I don't think it'll affect the flavor of the dish any other than just cut back on a little bit of the salty. There's a lot of other things in this that add great flavor. So once your chicken is cooked up, you can season that however you want. You're going to mix the rest of the ingredients together. I decided to use this same skillet, and to that I am adding in 1 can of cream of chicken soup. This is 1 cup of French onion dip, so like chip dip, you want the refrigerated kind, and then 1 cup of shredded cheddar. Now you can see we've got a lot of yummy flavor going on. I wanted to use the same skillet so I could get all of those bits from where I sauteed that chicken up. And I knew that would add to the flavor, and it did. Next, you're going to go in with your biscuits. So this is the bubble up bake part of this casserole. The recipe said Grand's Junior. I did not see that. I just bought a can of the quote-unquote Grand style biscuits, the Great Value brand. It said if you want to use those, just use 7 instead of 8. I just used all of them, and they worked out just fine. So do what you want. I will have that recipe, of course, down in the bottom, but you want to quarter those, take them apart, and all of this just gets mixed together. How easy is this? And then it goes into your baking dish, and you top it with some of those yummy French fried onions. So you can see this has got some great flavor components going in, and it was so good. Now I did read in the comments. I like to read the comments of recipes to see what people have to say. Some people suggested not adding those French fried onions on until the last 10 minutes or so of bake time. So I chose to do that. And I will say this, mine did take longer to bake than what the recipe said. So everybody's oven is different. Just keep a watch on it. What you want to do, you want it to be golden brown on the top, but you want those biscuits to be done all the way through. No gooey biscuits in the casserole. So test for doneness on those biscuits. And again, like I said, I'll have the recipe linked for you down below. This was so good. I have never made a bubble up bake. There's a lot of casseroles out there that are including biscuits with all sorts of flavor profiles, and I don't know, I just hadn't tried any of them. This was so delicious. I will definitely be making this again. Another thing I thought would be great is maybe adding in some frozen mixed vegetables. I didn't have any, so I just cooked up a can of mixed vegetables and served on the side. But I think adding those in would be really a great idea for this too. And the last casserole I have for you today is called the Amish Hamburger Steak Casserole. This was another really good one. I like this one because it was so different, but it was things that I knew that we would like. You start off with 1 pound of ground beef. I put that into a bowl here, and I'm going to season it up with this black pepper and this Kinder's French onion seasoning. Now, the recipe did not call for the Kinder's French onion seasoning, but I just happened to have that. I just purchased that a couple of weeks ago and had not even used it yet, and I knew it would be a really great seasoning for this recipe. Now, if you do not have that, make this with the seasonings that you do have on hand. I would say garlic powder, some salt and pepper would be plenty sufficient. So I just seasoned those up. I'm just going in here, getting that mixed together, and I'm going to form 4 patties out of this. I think the recipe said 5 or 6, but I just wanted to do 4. So I did alter a few things in this recipe, and that was one of them. But per usual, the recipe will be down below. Once I had this all mixed up, like I said, I formed my patties and just fried those up in my skillet. While those are frying, I went ahead and worked on the second portion of this recipe, which are the potatoes. So basically what this is, it's like a hamburger steak with gravy and potatoes all together in a casserole. And I thought that's what was unique and neat about it. Not a typical casserole, at least that I'm used to seeing. So again, I'm going in with my potatoes. They suggested slicing them all as evenly as you could and pretty thin. I think what made mine cook a little quicker even is because I had these gold potatoes, and I think they cook a little quicker and get tender a little quicker than a russet potato. So I think I used 3 or 4 of these, I can't remember. I just wanted to use the amount that I thought was equivalent to the hamburger patties. And so I just got these all sliced up really thin, put them in the bottom of this baking dish that had been sprayed with non-stick cooking spray. The recipe did not say to season up the potatoes, but I decided to go ahead and sprinkle on a bit of those same 2 seasonings, the French onion seasoning and the black pepper. Now, y'all know how much we love onions around here, but I was sadly out of onions. I did have a red onion, but I decided instead of using that, I would just use some of these dried minced onions. The recipe says to layer the onions, the potatoes. It even suggested putting the potatoes over top of the meat, but I decided to just layer in underneath and put the meat on top. So if you were doing regular onion, I wish I had that, but I didn't. I would just layer those in with the potatoes like a scalloped potato. And then you just go ahead and top with those ground beef patties. It said that you don't have to worry about cooking them all the way through because this is going to bake in the oven. Now this is where I variated a bit. The recipe calls for using milk and flour and just making a pan gravy with the drippings. Well, I had this little, about a 1 cup size container of brown gravy where I had made too much and just decided to freeze the rest of that. I figured I would have a use for it with a roast or something down the road, and this was the perfect way to use this up. I think if you followed the recipe exactly and made the pan gravy, the white pan gravy, that would also be really delicious, but this worked out great as well. So you could use brown gravy packets. You could use the white gravy packet if you wanted to, but like I said, just follow the recipe below or make the variation however you would want, and you just want to pour the gravy all over top. After you've baked this together in the oven, it was about 30 minutes or so, I did add just a little bit of water. I kind of poured around on the outside and in the middle there just to help those potatoes cook through. And then once it's pretty much done, you pull it out, add shredded cheese. I put a little bit of the Green Goddess seasoning on top because I'm out of parsley. And then you put it back in just long enough for the cheese to melt. I used the white cheddar because that's what I had on hand, and 10 out of 10 recommend that. That was so good on this, and it was so cheesy and just wonderful. And I was not sure on the cook time if the potatoes would cook all the way through, etc. They did, and so this was great. It was just a one kind of a, I guess that's what a casserole is. It has everything in there that you want. I did make some of this cheesy broccoli to go alongside, but the potatoes were cooked through, excellent in flavor, very rich. We really, really enjoyed this one. I think it would be great served with maybe some cottage cheese or a roll, dinner roll, or some white bread with butter. I didn't have either of those things. But again, very, very delicious. Well, thank you so much, friends. I hope you enjoyed all the recipes that I showed here today. I hope you are in the mood for a casserole. And if you did, would you give it a thumbs up down there? I would appreciate it. Just hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed, how about you subscribe? You can even turn on the bell notification. That way when I'm in the kitchen, you can know that I am here and you can be with me. And those of you that have subscribed, oh my goodness, subscribed, we are growing quickly. I've had a lot of new subscribers lately and I thank you all so, so much. I appreciate it more than you know. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.